Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the Paradigm Shift. I am one half of the five greatest hosts here in the Paradigm Shift. That's right. That's Gene Emerson right there. But let me introduce to you a man that is known throughout the land. He's an HD all-time. It is William H.D. Morgan.
If you will, baby, welcome to the Paradigm Shift Wrestling Podcast. It is an honor to be here with all these fine gentlemen tonight. Let's get into this for the building fun, baby. Hashtag building fun. Let's go.
And all the way from Louisiana, the man with the power, the man of the hour, the man that's never too sweet to be sour, Brandon Randall.
What's going on, boys and girls? Welcome to the Paradigm Shift. I am so glad to be with you on another Wednesday night. Talk about wrestling.
And the one, the man, the only. He is our boss, known as the Big Boss Man, the boss of all, the hoss of hosses. Here is Josh Hamley.
How are we doing tonight, boys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you will? We are here for another episode of the Paradigm Shift, and we are joined tonight by a very special guest, filling in for the one and only Professor, Mr. Rob Weary, the one and only, many of us know him by TDC Tommy.
What up, bro?
Stock just went up around here, boys.
Ratings just skyrocketed. I saw it.
Just all right, boys. So we are here once again on this Wednesday night to ship the Paradigm of Wrestling podcast. We're going to kick it off right now, quick, fast, in a hurry, with everybody's favorite segment. Get ready, boys. It was still the same. All of us dancing and one not.
He didn't know, to be fair, though. He didn't know.
He didn't know. Here we go.
He did it. There you go.
I know how hard it is to fill the credit shoes of Rob, but I think I might have nailed it there.
You hit the nail on the head, my friend.
Yes, sir.
All right, boys. So, as our theme tonight is interest music, so I've tried to stick to that theme. Tonight's question, we all know that a theme song can make or break a wrestler. So, if you could change one theme song for one wrestler thinking that it would totally change the career he had or will have, who would it be and why? And I'm going to go with Gene on this one.
Okay. Just that I was thinking of it, and I now know who I would go with, and that would be Owen Hart. Owen Hart always had the worst background music. Like, didn't have the best entrance theme. Like, you look at his brother Brett had a phenomenal theme. Yeah, they both sort of shared the same theme when they were in a group together, but when he was on his own, like, he struggled with themes. And I think that if he had had the right theme song, that probably would have elevated his career just that little bit. Not to say that he wasn't great in the ring, because he was phenomenal. But yeah.
It's a good one. I totally agree with that. Will.
Alex Riley.
Oh, yes.
He needed every bit of a good interest he could get. And he needed all the help he could get. Now, if you think about it, they tried to make him into a something. And nothing they did, nothing they tried actually turned him into something. He needed all the help he could get.
That's a good one.
Well, you don't piss off Cena, so
that's true.
Tommy.
Oh man, that is a really tough question. I think I'm gonna go with someone that's kind of newer. I think the Lucha House Party could be took a little bit more serious. That's their cheesy ass music coming out. Yes, it might have grabbed kids' attention at first, but now we're past that. And now every time they come out, I just kind of want to beat my head against the wall because the shit's annoying.
Brandon.
You know what Brandon's about to say. I already got a feeling. I know what he's going to say.
I'm struggling with this. I don't know what you think you know. If you know what I'm gonna say, please tell me because I need help. Oh man,
I thought you were about to say something to troll Josh.
nah,
That's
Nah.
too easy.
not this week. No, I don't know. Seamus kind of comes to mind.
Oh, that's a good one too.
His original interest music was really good. The
Yeah.
new stuff is terrible.
I don't like what they're doing now. Yeah, it's pretty whack, and I feel like Seamus is a better talent than what they're portraying.
But can we really say that his music hurt him? Because I mean, he won the championship pretty quick.
No,
Yeah.
But you got to think that run was not anything special.
I mean, to me, his haircut hurt him more than.
Oh, I agree.
I think running from the Nexus hurt him too.
Well, best Sheamus was the first 4 years of Sheamus. After that, they killed that character.
When
Like,
they took the Celtic Warrior thing from him, that's when he started going downhill.
Celtic Warrior was the greatest Sheamus. That's why I was glad when he kind of came back with the old look. I thought maybe they were going to go back to that, but that to me was the best Sheamus we ever saw. So my choice for this is going to be kind of controversial. It's not so much that the music wasn't good at first. I just don't like it now. Daniel Bryan's Flight of the Valkyries. I think it's worn the fuck out. Like, it was a basic ass song anyway in the beginning. He made it work with the yes, but I think it especially when he went heel, they really should have changed it.
Yeah.
But I think his is one of those ones that it's just it served its purpose. It's time to go with something more. And I get it kind of fits his personality of being that average guy, but
Hats off to him for making that work, though.
he did.
Yeah.
He took a bad could kill some careers and turned it into something.
There's only been a very few wrestlers that ever took classical music and made it good. You're looking at Macho Man, Ric Flair, and Daniel Bryan with the Flight of the Valkyries. So you know what I mean?
Things could always be worse. You could be R-Truth having to come out and rap your song every damn segment.
But he chose to do that. That song followed him from TNA all the way to WWE.
You know how many people I know it was instantly turned off by R-Truth because of that shit? They just be like, I can't do that every show, man. I can't do this every show.
And then he actually needed help because they went and got your girl to be out there with them to try to put him even more further over. And all it was doing was actually killing him when she was out there with them.
But I tell you who used to have a badass song. Baron Corbin.
Yeah. Okay.
Baron Corbin used to have a good song.
The whole character used to be badass.
Yeah.
We're going to get into that. Pump the brakes real quick. Let's just get into there's not a whole lot of news tonight, but real quick, that was...
And now it's time for...
Man, y'all always hit me with that like that, man. Doggone thing was bad.
Smack you in the face.
In the face. Good Lord, man.
So, I've been reading some things that we don't cover enough of, like New Japan, stuff like that. So I wanted to make sure we hit the G1 is started this past week. It already looks like Jay Lethal is going to win. Like, they're just building him super strong, super fast. I'm excited for that. I think Lethal, as the leader of the Bullet Club, it's time for him to hold the big title in New Japan. So I want to get everybody's opinions on what they've seen so far in the G1, if you've been following it.
It's not like it's hard to follow, but once again, with Corona being what it was, it hit them hard, especially for New Japan, especially for these smaller companies. Ring of Honor, even if you want to know NWA has now partnered with Primetime, United Primetime, and to get their stuff over. So you're looking at these smaller companies that either had to find new places to stream on or trying to pull out a lot of bags, because I know not only did New Japan have to pull out their G1 Climax this early, they also were pulling ahead with their Super Juniors, and that didn't pick up very much steam because of the COVID-19.
I think if you're gonna push somebody, he would be the guy you would push. I don't think this would be too much pressure for him to hold on to a major title like that. I think he's the perfect guy to push, perfect guy to be in that position.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'll be honest, I don't follow it a whole lot, but what I've seen of the guy, perfect timing.
My only thing about the whole thing is, and I might get some backlash for this, but to me the Bullet Club is watered down. The whole idea behind the Bullet Club and everything. Now, don't get me wrong, I like Jay Lethal. I mean, Jay deserves to be pushed. Wherever, obviously, WWE's never going to give him the time of day. You know what I mean? So
That's true.
So might as well let him go ahead and push him over there in New Japan, and like Gene was saying, the C19 has hurt him bad. So I don't know, man. It's a rough watch. It's definitely a different taste in wrestling, but if you're looking for something different, New Japan's got it.
Agreed.
For sure.
So some other news today. ACH versus Leo Rush has been announced for Joey Janela's Spring Break 4.
Hold on 1 second. Is that Jay Lethal or Jay Wright?
Jay White.
Jay White.
Oh, it's Jay White.
Jay White.
Okay.
Jay White.
Okay.
Lethal is, however, though, since you mentioned that, he's in the ROH tournament right now, and I think he's got a good chance of winning that because ROH is pushing Jay Lethal as their top guy for a while.
He's an incredible athlete. He's been doing this for the longest.
Who else does ROH have, though?
Not a whole lot anymore.
Yeah.
It used to be a mecca of mid-card to indie guys, and now it's just dried up.
I mean,
I'm kind of shocked they're a company anymore.
Yeah,
between everything that, I mean, the Speak Out movement hit them really hard, probably harder than it hit most companies. They lost a lot of people to it. And then they were already losing people to AEW and WWE. And
Do they even have the Women of Honor anymore?
no, they don't. But they were in the process of relaunching a women's division. The issue is you have Sinclair Media, which is a multi-million-dollar company.
Yes.
But they spend like 1% of their budget on ROH. They just never have found it a viable option to pump money into. If they would go for 1 to 10%, man, ROH would be on the level of AEW like that. They've always had the talent. They're a good show, but it's hard to catch if you're not a night owl.
Right.
And because of that too, when they re-air, they're never in order, so you can never really catch the storyline. Like it's just hard to follow. When ROH they put on a good show most of the time. Now they have suffered in the past from bad booking, but I think Marty Scurll, before all that went down, he was kind of changing that.
I know they had a lot of women running through there. A slew of good women's wrestlers running through that organization. You had Mischief over there, a veteran. Barbie Hayden was over there for a minute. Athena went over there. Leva Bates was over there for a minute. They had it looked like it was coming along, and then all of a sudden it just fizzled out.
I want to mention this. This is literally one of my favorite clips ever in wrestling. Every time it comes across on Facebook, I have to watch it. And if you have not seen Jay Lethal and Ric Flair have a woo-off in the Impact Zone, it is one of the greatest comedic bits in wrestling ever, I think. So the next piece of news I was talking about was ACH versus Leo Rush has been announced for Joey Janela's Spring Break. This one surprised me because hasn't it been announced multiple times that both of these guys have retired?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It has potential to be a really awesome match. Leo Rush, ACH are both very good talents. They're a little crazy. A little starved for attention, if you ask me. But
Issues.
Last time I seen Leo Rush, wasn't he going around in the independent lead with the cruiserweight title still?
No, that's you're thinking of Enzo Amore.
It was Enzo that was doing that shit. Leo's
Yeah.
one kind of flipped his wig there for a minute.
he flipped his wig right after his release, and then he said, "I'm going to become a rapper. I'm done wrestling." And now he's taken, I think, three bookings since then. He did another Joey Janela as one of Joey Janela's first events after COVID. I think he had some part in Gallows and Anderson's #Gallows and Anderson. And also I found #Talking Shop. If you really want to get their attention, that's the one. But
No, somebody didn't do that.
Yeah, it has potential to be a good match. Those two, I just can't ever figure out what they're doing.
I don't care what.
Leo was the last thing we remember of Leo being on top of that 20-foot or 15-foot pedestal and jumping off.
And I don't care what people say. ACH, his best work is still in Anarchy Championship Wrestling. You hardly saw him in WWE's NXT.
Yeah,
Very rarely saw him. His stuff is still better over in ACW, and that's in your neck of the woods, Josh.
Yep.
Yeah, Leo's one of those guys. If he just shut up and listened,
Yep.
he would have been. He could have really been something, man. I mean, I know a lot of people didn't like it with the pairing with Bobby Lashley. To me, the shit was hilarious. I found it funny. He was loudmouth. It was almost like a cornet type. Loudmouth, want to punch him in the mouth, but he got us. It sold, man. To me, I loved it.
I agree. Leo, he's just one of those. His mouth. He won't just use it for good. It's just constantly getting him in trouble too. Unfortunately.
So we're going to talk about Impact real quick.
Yeah, that was going to be my next thing. They announced a title match for Bound for Glory today for the tag team champions. It's going to be Fulton, Madman Fulton, and Ace Austin versus Motor City Machine Guns versus the North versus my boys, the Good Brothers.
And we've seen matches like that before from Impact.
I think that'll be a fantastic, great, amazing match. You got two young teams in Fulton and Ace in the North versus two very seasoned teams in Motor City and the Good Brothers. So I think that could be an awesome championship match.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, and there was another piece of news. I don't know if you want to talk about it.
Well, we absolutely have to. This is world news paradigm shift. We have to.
We have to talk about it. Rob Van Dam and Kevin Forbes have been released from Impact.
They are now free agents.
I call it
now free agents.
The rumor is he's been working on some things with WWE, but I call it now. In 6 months, him and Katie have a porno coming out. I call it right now. She's already on OnlyFans. She beat us to that one.
I can see
He'll be on Raw in 3 weeks getting RKO'd by Randy.
Well,
and then get punted in the head.
He's going to be a male Natty Martin. Just put everybody over.
Okay, RVD was always one of my favorites. He was doing things back in the day that were unheard of. And a lot of the wrestlers now have definitely followed in his footsteps. And I get that you see people like Lawler and Terry Funk and all these guys that are still doing it in their 70s. But I'm sorry, RVD needs to hang it up. He doesn't look healthy half the time on camera.
Another time he high.
And okay, I can't play anything about the weed.
There's a difference in being high and then Rob Van Dam high.
I mean, you're probably right because there are pictures out there of what his daily session is. There are videos out there of it. It is insane. Even for me, a person who smokes literally daily all day, like I say that that's a new level. He's
trying to get that Jeff Hardy TNA high.
Yeah. Look at me, Jeff. Look at me.
But I don't know. Watching him, it doesn't seem like it's all weed. It seems like he's drunk half the time. Like,
yeah,
I'm sure he's on painkillers too.
Painkillers.
Many years he's been in the business, and especially with the generation he comes from the business.
What concerns me is when you see him after, like, halfway through a match, he is drenched in sweat.
Yeah,
like you can tell he's winded, he's dehydrated. He's not healthy, man. Nobody wants to wrestle somebody like that.
Well, and you said it in our chat today, Brandon. He just needs to retire, go smoke some weed, and fuck bitches. Because truly, all right, we're all have our opinions on Katie Forbes, but I mean, you have what I would easily say a hard 8-9 who is willing to let you sleep with who has a girlfriend on top of that and sleep with anybody else you'd like. I mean, and you have a limited supply of weed. You were set for money on life. Just, dude, ride out into the sunset. Go open a school somewhere.
Look at Val Venus. Go open your own weed dispensary. I mean,
go do that. Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
Just go fuck some hot women and move on. It is just time. Like you literally will go down as one of the greatest of all time. He changed the way of the business. He showed that a small, stocky guy could do it. He paved the way for probably hundreds of thousands of wrestlers after him, but he's just destroying his legacy with these later runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't have somebody like that in a school though.
The only person to ever get Impact banned from Twitch. Just saying.
Yep.
Last little piece of news.
What's up? Facebook user. Click the link. Let's see who you are.
I got $5 that says it's someone we know.
So this last piece of news comes out of NXT. We take this with a grain of salt. There's rumor that it could be kayfabe, but following an attack from Candice LeRae, Tegan Knox has suffered a torn ACL.
Heard about that.
That's true, I believe.
I think it's true only because of the way they've told it. If it's a work, they don't go as far as like taking her out of matches and most of the time and that kind of shit like they have with Tinga. I think she's really hurt. So
coming from someone who's just healing off an ACL, that sucks.
Yes. It's
nothing pretty.
Yeah, it does.
Didn't NWA didn't they crown a new champion too?
Oh yeah, Trevor Murdoch is the new NWA national champion.
Yep.
Also,
how many days is your boy hold it?
What's his name over there? Aaron. God, now it's on the tip of my tongue and I can't think of it.
Yeah.
It's Damian Sandow in WWE. But it's I can't think of his name off the top of my head now.
That guy.
Aaron Stevens.
He could change his name 100 times. He's still Damian Sandow to me.
He's still Damian Sandow.
Sure.
Yeah. So
I seen something across my screen. Matt Cardona no longer with AEW.
What? Already?
Yep.
Contract expired. Yeah.
I think that was one of those situations. I posted it a few places, and of course, a couple of people pointed out to me, which was a good point. That was kind of like a friend throwing a friend a bone.
Yeah.
WWE cuts you. We really don't need you, but just to prove a point, we'll give you a little bit of a shot. But
I think you'll be back.
Here's the thing, though. We all know if that really rubs some salt in AEW wounds a little bit because of how much they pound the stake home about they never used him correctly, and we're going to use him correctly over here, and he's going to be something over here, and now his contract's already up.
Yeah. Just makes you wonder, like, what really happened over there.
Well, I think
I think he was wanting too much. I seen him do a sit down, and like he was like wanting Merc deals. He was wanting action figures. He was wanting
he's wanting like whoever he works with to also pick up his podcast, and like he's wanting to basically set himself up for life off of his next deal.
You know, and what's so stupid is everybody said that he was being buried at WWE. What they didn't realize is how much money that man was actually making at WWE.
Yeah. He wasn't making chunk change. He had one of their better contacts.
Between the podcast, the small shows they put him on, his wrestling figure stuff, his merch, all that stuff, man, he was making some money.
Well, and then the podcast, the wrestling figure stuff, that's all a separate thing. He never stopped making that money.
But I just don't see him as a top guy.
Me neither.
It's just not going to happen for him.
Everybody can't be over. That's what wrestling fans don't understand. Everyone cannot be over.
There's got to be mid card. If there's no mid card, there's no top card.
And let's put it this way: Zack Ryder is literally living the dream. He came from nothing and made it in the biggest business in wrestling. He didn't fail. Whether he never become nothing or he become a mid carder and they cut him, who cares? He still went from the bottom to the top. So.
For sure.
And he's with Chelsea Green, so
and I mean the man has I listened to his podcast. He spends thousands upon thousands of dollars a month on action figures. So he's not only living the dream, but he's living his childhood dream of being able to collect all these action figures. Yep.
I believe it wraps up news, huh?
I was gonna say I think that wraps up the news for today. We're going to use this time real quick to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with our topic of the night, entrance music. So we'll be right back. And we're back.
Tommy's like, what the hell just happened?
We have to do that for the podcast. I'm adding.
We don't run a sloppy show.
Yeah.
We take commercials around.
About to ask you if we could start doing the same thing on your show, Tommy, because I need to do it for the podcast so I can add in a commercial.
That's fine. I don't care. I mean, as far as I care, it could be a couple of cuts in there with the other shows that we got lined up and shit like that. So that's fine with me.
We take commercial.
It just makes it easier when I split the show later. But moving on, it is time. So tonight's topic of the night is entrance music. We already started to get into it and already talking about it. Let's just jump right in where we left off. Baron Corbin, I think probably one of the better entrance songs of this generation before they change it. Like his NXT music was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until Vince looked at him and said, you know what? He should look more like a waiter.
Let's
get him a vest. Someone get him a vest.
Shave his head.
Shave his head. Well, at all the he was already going bald.
And
his hairline was back to here.
And then they started giving
running away.
And then they give him, and then they go, oh well, that would be perfect. Now let's make him king. Give him half his bit of his music, but then king it up like dan, dan. And it's the same stuff without the words, but it's just like king style. I'm like. I
can't believe you fellas are gonna see here about entrance music and not say anything about my boy Taz.
Oh, one of the greatest.
Bro.
Badass.
Bro. Every time that drop. Woo!
Yep.
Yeah. Greatest.
You knew business was picking up. Even like if you go back and watch One Night Stand and you hear that music hit, and he comes walking out and he only takes on Angle and he just fucking goes that Angle.
Yep.
It's like everybody was like, oh, yeah, it's Taz. What are we gonna do? You know what I mean? So yeah.
You know, you want to talk about some annoying ass entrance music? Don't you remember Right to Censor?
Oh God!
Yes.
I watched WrestleMania 17 up and downs the other day, and like one of the only downs that WrestleMania 17 got was that damn censor music, because the guy was like, "That is the most annoying ass music."
Oh, it was so bad.
I will say though, to this day, I still love Ivory.
Yeah.
Great, yeah.
I always liked Steven Richards. I always thought Richards wasn't used right.
Yep, that's a good point.
Oh,
I
yeah.
always thought he was pretty good, man. He just was never used right.
The only
Agreed.
person I believe had the right to censor that you could honestly say that was like used the way that we're supposed to was Bull Buchanan. You know what I mean? He was just there to be the big dumb, you know what I mean?
What's
But
so
everybody
funny
else
about
had
it
more
too?
potential.
It got pointed out to me on that 17. If you go back and you watch it, when they're when censor is coming out, Godfather and everyone's got this serious dead whoop ass look on their face. Buchanan, from ear to ear, clearly you could tell I'm at WrestleMania and I don't give a fuck. If I'm supposed to be in character, you could clearly see he couldn't hide it. I mean, he had a smile, man, from ear to ear.
Man,
So one of the more annoying ones for me is I could not stand Spirit Squad. Like
why
they're
you gonna do my boy like that? Why you gonna do my boy Dolph like that?
hey, I will give it. That is the one good thing that came out of Spirit Squad was Dolph Ziggler.
No, it wasn't.
No,
You don't
Kenny
like
Dykstra
Dolph?
wasn't even good that came out of the Spirit Squad. And they tried to punish him again.
I like Dolph Ziggler. I just
Hey, I can't help it, man. Still currently today, he's still like in my top 10 of favorite wrestlers of today. So they don't ever get used right, and
I
like
agree.
he always gets took off screen, and then you hear like they're repackaging him. It's the same fucking Dolph every time he comes back. There's nothing new about him.
The man,
And they almost pretty much same music too.
just within the past couple months alone, he had what 50 title matches.
yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a lot.
Lost every damn one of them.
He lost every one.
For real though, I've said it over and over and over on the show. Dolph needs a good title run.
But WWE's never going to give it to him. They've shown
they're
over
not.
and over and over and over again that, yes, I've heard that.
Yeah.
Please no, please no, please no.
It's been that way for like a year. It was one of those copyrights that they bought that WWE let drop.
And
So not really entrance music, but Vicky Guerrero. Oh, dude.
Man, you love Vicky. Don't worry
No,
about it. You love
dude. If I could gouge my eyes out and still see, I would, and then rip my ears off.
Y'all remember, you remember she was in that swimsuit issue?
God,
Dude,
that's
I've
sad.
seen that is literally an episode like I could see on South Park or something of them making fun of that shit when I've seen it. Man, Vicky Guerrero is definitely, and I know I might get heat for this, but in my eyes, she is definitely the equal definition of what happens when you're married into talent.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
But but you have to look at the whole story here too. If Eddie hadn't passed, she would have never ever been an on-air talent. Vince gave her that because he wanted them to be okay. It was his basically gift to Vicky to make sure that they would never be struggling.
Once again, it's Vince's fault. I'm seeing a pattern here.
mean,
aren't you guys?
If we were ever gonna rename this show, we could rename it "It's Vince's Fault."
To smash on two things he said. One, this is why what he just said is why everybody kind of gave Vicky a look when she went to AEW. It's because of that specific reason. Vince made sure after Eddie died that she would never hurt again, and then she turns around and goes to AEW. Two, if it wasn't for the death of Eddie, Rey Mysterio wouldn't have a storyline for the past 10 years to be living off of.
If it wasn't for the death of Eddie, we never would have saw that great stuff she did with Edge.
that's right.
That shit was pretty good, man.
That was some of the greatest stuff she ever did.
That shit was pretty good. That was pretty good. That was probably like her only good moment to me ever. And it was just the way it was wrote out. I mean, the writers back then was way better than they are now. So
way
If
better.
you're going to talk about good, if we're going to talk about some good theme music, if you're going to go back, let's go. If we're going to go bring it back a little bit to the '80s, let's talk about Jake the St. Roberts. You heard that music, and as soon as you heard that music, you knew business was picking up.
Yep.
You knew business was picking up.
How about how about back in the day, Flying Brian Pillman?
Oh,
All his Trons were good.
going new school again. One of the greatest so far. I have this on a playlist constantly, and that's Shinsuke.
Yep.
I can't even understand the music. I don't even care. I will listen to that whole song like 4 or 5 times a day.
I don't think you're supposed to understand it.
You're not.
I got one I'm against the Heat for. John Cena.
Like or dislike?
Dislike.
Oh, I can't stand it.
Which one?
I hate John Cena's socks. Okay, everything about that guy I do not like. So.
Come on, man.
But you got to think about it, dude. To a freaking 10-year-old, that's the shit.
Yes.
Yeah, as soon as they hear,
That's what's up, dude. That is popping.
They was out there with their big waisted space of belt spinning it.
I agree there.
There was
He
a
actually
point
got some badass music.
I absolutely loved that belt, but I was at one point a huge Cena fan.
Never ever.
Until he started working for the Paradigm Shift.
Not true.
I have
you gotta
never
give-
been behind Cena. People always tell me, "Oh man, you didn't like him back when he was a doctor of thugonomics." I said, "Dude, even then, I was not a Cena fan.
But
He
it's
was
funny.
just more tolerable then than he was for the next years after that."
Well, it's funny how
Josh
it's
is
funny.
working hard to get Cena over in AEW. He's working hard to make that happen.
No.
No. Oh, that was a piece of news we forgot. The Rock is going to Impact, kind of.
Kind
He is
of.
Oh yeah.
Kind of.
He's virtually going to induct Kid Shamrock into the Hall of Fame.
Which in layman's terms means he's going to sit in his $60 million house and push a button on a phone. He will never step foot into an Impact arena. Like, as soon as that shit went down on Twitter, I bet you Vince was like, "You better not, damn it."
Think about what you're doing.
He's gonna...
What y'all think about Ken Shamrock's music?
Kid Shamrock had some good music back in the day.
I didn't mind it, but it wasn't like the thing that got me going for him. Like, you know what I mean? But I can say one thing: D-Generation Ed's had some good music.
Yes, sir.
But going away from good or bad, what are the ones that are the catchiest that get stuck in your head? And I got one right now, and that's Bobby Roode, Glorious. That one, especially with Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano doing the Glorious
Yes,
bomb.
that shit was
It was so great.
And it was like he never got mad. He would just look at him and go, give him a nod, like, yeah.
The one that gets me all the time and always sticks in my head is Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, I hate the band, but he had good music.
It is.
HBK, yeah, like James Gordon said, HBK is definitely like one. It's
Sexy boy.
people sing that just to joke around and shit. So like, it's definitely one.
But on that, there's one that could change now. Because I'm sorry, but there's nothing sexy about a 65-year-old man limping down to the ring trying to do a split. And it's just...
He's wearing a cable behind him to help pick him up.
I did get a giggle like when me and the old lady was watching Clash of Champions. I was like, look at him crawling off the look at him. She's like, look how he's crawling off the ambulance. He's like, I can't fall, I break a hip, that's it. You know, like, he was easing off that ambulance, man. I was laughing at him, dude.
Well, he's already got a shit back. You just imagine one wrong fall, it's over with.
I hope when I'm his age, though, I could still kick someone in the chin like he did.
Oh, for sure.
Like
he
did
still
Randy.
can pull off the sweet chin so well.
Hey, we can make fun of him, but let's be real. In that Saudi match, he was the best looking one out of him and Triple H and Kane and Undertaker.
Hands down. Hands down.
Man, okay, I'm sure everyone here watched the Taker documentary. The way that they all four talked about that match just lets you know that it was an absolute pile of shit.
Hey,
Because-
and we all said, I think most fans said that before it even started.
We
It's a
did.
bad
We
idea.
said this is not a good idea.
As soon as Triple H and Shawn Michaels got in the ring, and you heard, we were talking, and we're all like, "Oh no, please!"
But going back to music for a second, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Oh,
Like,
True.
yeah,
there's one we just mentioned, haven't said. One of the most iconic, Taker.
Well, see, that's what I was going to say. Probably as far as the catchiest, Taker is one of my favorites.
Yes.
Obviously,
Which one?
Shit.
Roland or
No. Definitely the Taker. I don't mean American Badass.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
When I heard those gongs, I just get chills in my back. Oh, he's here.
I think everybody reacts every wrestling fan reacts that way when that dong goes off and the lights go down. It's just like, oh.
But I have one more. That's Randy Orton.
Oh.
Dude, every time I hear it, I sing the whole song. And he may be a crap wrestler these days, but
He's another
got
one.
good music.
Randy Orton music, you could be on the shitter and you'd be like,
yeah.
Yep. That's right.
I can name off 3 good ones for me that I play in my head. And one of them, I'm wearing his T-shirt. You hear that music? What happened at Royal Rumble this year? As soon as you heard the music, everybody and their fans got off the seat. Another one I can think of is one that gets me a lot of times is Dusty Rhodes, The American Dream. When you hear the American, and then you hear the good old cowbell behind it, everybody and their mom is dancing. Yeah.
I do agree with James's comment here. Chris Jericho's AEW theme song is absolutely amazing. I love
Judas
to hear the fans sing it. It's just so awesome.
Can we give the NWO Wolfpack some love?
Oh yeah. Well, and I was also going to mention my first AEW plug of the night. I love Kingdom by Downstate for Cody. I think it just fits his personality, his gimmick, everything so well.
How about Kanye?
don't you remember Vader's music?
Oh.
It's time. It's Vader time.
I remember when he showed up at the Royal Rumble when he first come over from WCW, and he made that big pop because like Jerry the King Lawler was telling us all night, there was someone in the back that was going to show up. It was going to like shock everybody, and then end up being Vader. You're like, oh shit! Even though he kind of bunked out in WWF, he didn't really do too much, but it was still cool to have him there, man.
That's a damn shame that he got more love in Japan than he did here in the States.
Yeah, he will go down as one of the greatest over in Japan.
Anybody that can walk out with that kind of shit on them that he had to walk out in and still be able to see and find his way to the ring, he deserves some kind of love. I promise you.
Well, man, you hear that's right. Another one. Ooh, what a rush!
Yeah,
from Chicago.
How about Steve?
LOD.
How about Steve?
Triple H. I mean, Triple H probably has one of the greatest, one of the most popular theme songs of all time.
Lex Luger.
Motorhead.
Lex Luger. Let me stop.
Luger was a good one.
I'm not gonna go.
Lex. Don't use the word good and Lex Luger in the same sentence.
I couldn't even say that with a straight face.
That's about a guy that was all muscle and no ring skill.
None. Couldn't work, couldn't talk, couldn't even barely walk to the ring.
And the thing that was disturbing, they kept putting that U.S. title around his waist.
Because Vince wanted everything in the world. Okay, you know who you could almost rate Luger with in new times? Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
He will do whatever he can to get that man over.
I just can't even compare him to him because even though Roman don't have much skill to me in the ring, he has more than Luger.
Well, that doesn't take
He was
much.
so stiff. I remember they had talked to Barry Windham about working with them. They just said Luger was so stiff back in the day.
Another good one was Bret Hart. You hear that music, and you knew excellence of execution was coming. You knew the sharpshooter was coming. It was all business. Same with another guy that you could say with a good theme song that was all business. Stone Cold Steve Austin. You heard that the crash of the glass.
Sure.
Yeah.
Business picked up instant.
The Rock.
How about China?
Which Steve Austin song music did y'all like the best? The first version or the Disturbed version?
Disturbed version.
I actually both.
I like the Disturbed version. A lot of people didn't like it. But I think it's just because what he was doing during that time. They was like, but I liked it. Though.
Yep.
How about China, guys?
China
was good.
Yeah.
The ninth wonder of the world. Don't treat me like a woman. Don't treat me like a man. I enjoyed that.
The Rock. You hear that helicopter every time.
Eddie Guerrero.
No, the original Rock from Attitude Era was the best.
Yeah.
When you hear, if you smell, that's the one that got you out of the seat. Not the long-ass one that you heard the helicopter and you waited 20 minutes and then you hear, it's cooking. No, I didn't like that one.
That's the one I grew up with, Gene. So deal with it.
How about Eddie Guerrero?
I mean, we lie, we cheat, we steal.
Yeah,
Great.
that was catchy. Yeah, I don't know how many different.
I can't believe no one ain't mentioned the Horseman's music yet.
Oh
man, Arn Anderson by himself.
Yeah, that's right. Arn Anderson's music was just without the horses in the beginning, pretty much.
All right.
Same music.
Before we close out for the night, we're gonna do this top three. Your top three greatest theme songs in your list right now. Gene, you've already pretty much said, but repeat your list.
My list is pretty much you got Edge, you got as well in there. You have I can keep going, but I'll go with LOD and Bret Hart.
Brandon.
Whew. Randy, CM Punk, and man, Taker, yeah.
Will.
Taz, Stone Cold, and The Rock.
Will is always so decisive. Like he always has his answer ready to go.
I'm sorry, I'll start doing better.
Do better.
One we actually didn't mention that comes to mind now. I'll put in my list was Mick Foley's when you heard that car hit and it'd go rolling over, man. I mean, the crowd would pop every single time it didn't make it down where they was.
This dude love was funny.
You got to put Steve Austin's in there because anytime the glass broke, you hit the ceiling. Oh man, so many. That's why I hate narrowing stuff down to top fives and top threes because you always feel like you're disrespecting someone by leaving them out.
It's Josh's fault, Tommy. You don't have to feel
It's
bad.
It's Josh's fault.
Usually is.
I guess I'll go Triple H for the other one, just because he always had big hits like with Motorhead and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Every theme song he ever had just about was good, except for like when he was Hunter Hearst Hemsley.
Yeah.
You know, that was about it. That was kind of
When he didn't have any clout.
Yeah.
So my first two, I really want to name them because we didn't. Christian Solo. I loved his theme song, the pouring of the pyro down. Christian. Loved it. Also, the Dudley Boys. I mean, probably every time you heard the whistle and the pop and then their music hit, like, that one was just great. And then I think the last one I had to go with Taker because to me, both of them, Taker, American Badass, and Taker, Old School Taker, two of the greatest entrances ever. We all know that American Badass Taker is one of my favorites. And so...
Can I get an honorable mention?
Yeah.
Kurt Angle.
Oh yeah. You suck.
You suck.
I'll take one of those too, and I can't believe it. The very controversial one, which would be Chris Benoit's music.
Oh, but it was so good.
It was so good, so good.
Our Lady Peace, whatever.
I totally forgot the word.
So real.
I hear he's bringing that back.
Yeah. Well, supposedly we might see some Willow in WWE.
Can we get Willow versus old school Bray Wyatt?
That's what the talk is.
That's
Willow versus Bray.
Oh, bad. Willow versus old school Bray. Not this new.
I just don't think it's going to work. I think they'll kill it, just like they did Broken Matt.
I mean, they just have shown they can't do it well. So
Did he sign an extension on his contract? 'Cause
Yes.
It should be up. Oh, he did.
No. 5 years.
And WWE has never done well with rehashing. Check when they did the NWO, for example. That it failed. Big time failed.
And I bet that wasn't all their fault, though. I mean, some of that was on Scott. I mean, let's be real. Some of that was on Scott. Hogan was about at his end of his career, and Nash was also pretty beat up at that point. So,
Nash
and a lot of it too. And they weren't expecting the real storyline that would be built at WrestleMania from what happened between Rock and Hogan. That totally came out of left field for them.
You could also throw some of it on the seniority of the other vets was in the back that just refused to work with them, like Austin refusing to work with Hogan. And, you know, but you can't blame them for pulling that card. You know what I mean? It's like, no. Remember those days back in the days before I was shit? The hell with you.
Hogan wanted to control everything.
Yep.
So, as we're coming to the end of our show, it is that time for shameless plugs. So, as our guest, Mr. Tommy, TDC, would you like some shameless plugs, sir?
Oh, of course. I like free shit. Y'all don't forget tomorrow on the Total Nonstop podcast, me and Mr. Brandon there is going to go over Clash of Champions. Also, we got Saturday, me and Josh here. We're going to have the top 25 Gridiron for the NCAA. So check it out. You can find it on any of the Facebook pages on those Facebook pages. Also, you can find Total Nonstop Podcast on YouTube or on PinFall Productions.
On our YouTube and our Facebook page, and that show also airs on Sports Report.
Nice.
Yep.
And you can also catch our show on Tuesdays, The Huddle with Mr. Brandon Randall, Mr. William Morgan, and where we'll be discussing this week 4 of the NFL. It was a good show yesterday that we did. Thank you, Tommy, for covering for me as I got called back into work. We also wanted to say thank you to StreamYard, Facebook, and Anchor for making these podcasts and live streams happen. If it weren't for y'all, we would be doing none of this, so we greatly appreciate it. Is there anything else? Did I miss any shameless plugs tonight? Oh, Geek Gauntlet.
Yes.
Will.
Saturday, 10 p.m. We'll be right here streaming over our Geek Gauntlet Facebook page, PinFall Productions, and GNN _ live on YouTube. So definitely check us out there.
Keep an eye on PinFall Productions for mini shows coming up that we have in the works. There's a lot of things to come. Please follow me for a new show that I will be doing, Talking and Token, with my cousin. We hope y'all enjoyed the show and y'all have a great night. Oh, yeah, and remember one other thing. # Building Fun.
That's it. Building Fun, baby.
Go to Anchor and support us on Anchor.
What the hell did you pop back up on screen for? We didn't say free cake.
I have no idea what
Gallows and Anderson.
Yeah.
# Building Fun. # Gallows and Anderson. # Talking Shop. But we're still down to make this happen and get Gallows and Anderson on the paradigm shift. So # Talking Shop, # Gallows and Anderson.
And look, for the building fund, we'll happily take the money that jingles, but we really take the money that folds, baby.
Yeah, baby.
But you can donate to the building fund on Anchor and support this show. and everything that Pinfall is doing. We greatly appreciate it. We greatly appreciate y'all joining us tonight, and we'll see you next time in the Paradigm Shift.
Time to play.